Okay, so this week I am just getting back from a trip and things got a little hectic when I got back. So I'm going to postpone this week's episode of Let's Talk Lemons until next week when I can actually have my guests because I don't want to do it without them because it'll be awesome. But I did want to leave you with something today. So let's talk about lemons. Let's talk lemons. So while I was out, I went to Las Vegas in Nevada. That was my little getaway. I treated myself, and that right there is a lemon in itself. Being that it's hard to travel when you have no money. When you're broke and everything that you get goes to your household, to your children, to your cars, and to every other little thing that just costs money. I had a friend that I went with, and she was telling me how they got their tickets real cheap. And when I say cheap, I think I spent like maybe $58 on my tickets round trip. When usually they're like $250 to $600 just to go out there. So I snatched that little bit of that was my chance to go. And then the room was super cheap. I think it was $17 a night plus a rental car for like, it was like all together $40 a night. And I was like, okay, I can afford this. I had the money at the time. I spent it. And I was like, when I get there, I'm not spending no money on nothing but food, because you know I don't play when it comes to food. So that's what I spent my money on there. Yeah, I got my kids a little something, they don't know yet, but I got them like little keychains and some other souvenirs that were, less than $2 a piece. So I didn't spend that much. So I took that lemon of not being able to travel and go places because of not having a lot of money, and I turned it into lemonade. I was able to spend a very little bit of money to enjoy an experience that I probably wouldn't be able to do unless I had more money. So that is one lemon to lemonade right there. Okay, so another one. While I was out there, I was sitting in my room on the toilet. Don't judge me. The toilet is where I tend to get time for self-reflection. And there was this beautiful mirror in the bathroom that had this beautiful light on it. And I was able to look at myself and see how the one thing that I noticed was my hair. And I had my ponytail up high. And granted, I don't have a lot of hair on my head, but I have a license for cosmetology, so I know how to make a little bit of hair look like a lot. But I looked at myself and I was like, a year ago, I didn't have much hair on my head because I had just cut it all off right before I had my son. And I'm looking like, dang, it only took me a year to get back to the same point of hair that I had before I cut it. And I looked at my situation all in a whole. I have this baby with someone that I hardly knew. And yeah, he and I, we get along, but we're not together, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay because this whole situation was crazy anyway. But in the beginning, it got to me. It got me down. I was sad about the situation, but we've been able to work together and to make things pleasant between each other, and we're able to raise our son in a decent way. I'm not gonna say it's perfect because it ain't, and I've been in this situation before, but to compare it to the situations before and how long it took me to get back to normal, I think I did a really good job. I was able to, I knew what the situation was. We were able to figure out how we're going to do this. We're going to be nice to each other. We're going to make this work. We're going to do what you guys call co-parenting. I hate that word. I hate it with a passion because, in all honesty, I do most of the work. Don't tell him I said that. But that's just a woman to man thing. Like, women just, they got it bad when it comes to raising children. So for me to be able to look at myself in the mirror and see that this is me last year before I had my son, I was proud. Like, I'm feeling good that I didn't let things get out of hand and be in some knockdown, drag out fight, going to court, trying to figure out how we're going to raise this kid. I'm glad that we don't have that. So to take that situation, that's my lemon, and it's a huge lemon, a big one. It's one of the biggest ones I've ever had. And just when I think that I can't do worse than the last time, things just get crazy. But to take that and to make it a decent situation, that definitely is some sweet lemonade for me. Another lemon today, which is a part of why I'm not able to do the episode that I would like to do. Today has just been a crazy day. I got off the plane. I had to drive home to get my son, which was 4.5 hours to get home, and then turn right back around to come back to take care of some business here where I'm at. It's just been a long day. And then on top of that, in my apartment complex, so right before I left, they were telling me that I needed to get some tags put on my car. Granted, I had tags and my car is registered, but somehow my tags came up missing. So I had to go get some more, and I procrastinated. This pandemic thing, this COVID whatever, has the DMV all kinds of crazy, and I just didn't want to be bothered with it. So they were like, you need to move your car or get it towed somewhere because you don't have plates on it. So, and this happened right before I left for my trip. And I was getting ready to leave for my trip when they called me and said this. So I had to drive that car all the way to, I live in Richmond, so I had to drive to Charlottesville to get tags, and then drive to Lynchburg, and then to Charlotte. So I drove that car all the way to Charlotte. Granted, it's my beater, but she takes care of me, and I love that car. And I was like, okay, this is how I figured out that lemon, and I turned that one into a decent situation, so I didn't have to worry about that while I was gone. Got plates on my car. Went back home last night, dropped the car off, and then I'm headed back to Charlotte. 2 hours outside of Richmond, they're calling me and saying, oh, well, you got to move your car for tree removal, or they're doing some kind of tree removal in our little area. I'm like, well, you didn't say that. So I'm just like, oh, why would you wait until right after I leave to tell me this? Or you could have told me last week last week right before I left. She was like, well, I don't know, but you got to move it. And I can't find anybody to tow it. I have 2 cars that I had to move. Anyway, long story short about that situation, I called the people that do the towing in our area, and he was like, well, I'll just move it for you into another space and don't worry about it. So he took care of it for me, which I almost wanted to cry. I said I'd give you a hug when I get back. And so I'm glad that that was taken care of. So now I'm able to be here and take care of business here. So there's just I'm always getting lemons, always, which is why I'm obsessed with them. I'm able to take them and turn them into something else immediately because I can't hang on to drama. I can't hang on to problems. I can't hang on to situations that bring me down. I have to change them because I know in my life, and it's always been this way, that there's more to come. So I got to get this squared away immediately before the next thing happens. So I was able to get through those things today and last week or whatever. Last week's show wasn't exactly what I wanted, but I got it done, so I'm proud of that. And it turned out okay. I'm proud of that as well. And I was able to get feedback from you guys, from my family and friends and whatnot. And I know that it was too long, so I'm going to try to keep it under 30 minutes. I also know that we had some technical issues, so you weren't able to hear everything. And then I wasn't able to add everything to the video that I wanted to, like the pictures for the makeup or whatever. Eventually I'll get to doing that because I definitely want you guys to see I have a vision of everything and how I want it to be. Granted, I'm super busy all the time between working with my mom's business and my own, dealing with my kids and everything else that goes on in my life. I'm just like, okay, that was good considering what I had to deal with. Like in the background, I'm sure you can hear my kids screaming their heads off, stomping, and when I first sat down to do the video, I was looking at myself like, oh my God, I look so fat in the camera. Granted, during the day, like I can look in the mirror and see, oh, you're not that bad, you cute or whatever. But in that video, I just felt I was uncomfortable, so I have to work on that as well. But definitely want to do better for the next one, so I didn't want to rush it this week. So bear with me on this. Bear with me. And also, if your name was in the raffle and you didn't win, because Brandy won, and if you weren't the winner, I definitely have something for you. So I'm gonna get everybody's address and send it to you or bring it to you. I can meet up with you. It doesn't matter. I'm excited to do that, and I'm excited for you guys to have it because they're all super cute little things. I feel like there was something else. I definitely want to continue to hear what you guys want to talk about, because I got a million things to talk about, but it's not going to do any good if it's not what you want to hear, because you don't want to hear me ramble on about my problems, because I got a lot of them. But I'm always willing to share. Yeah, so definitely watch this, share it, and I want you guys to comment on wherever this video is posted. I'm going to post this on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Tell me what you guys want to hear, or what do you want to talk about, or even share with me your lemons. What kind of things do you have to deal with every day, and what kind of things do you have to do to turn it into lemonade? Like, because there's people live different lives. I mean, everybody's situation is different. I just happen to be surrounded by people that are very similar to me, so in my mind, I'm just like, I want to know what everybody else has to deal with. I know these problems, I know their problems, I want to know your problems. and problems are always a bad thing. We learn from them, we grow from them, we teach others things from them. So don't hold back, because keeping that stuff bottled in will definitely have you ready to explode. You don't want your lemon to just sit there and get moldy and be no good to you. So always take and make the best of everything. So yeah, definitely do that. And I will talk to you guys later. And thank you for all your support, all of my customers, all of your feedback. I love it. So thank you guys.